Tell you lovely people. How we
Yes,
doing today?
I am lovely.
Are you?
Lovely.
I
Just
like to hear it. I like
getting
to
all this
hear
fresh
that.
air in. Yes, loving it.
Listen, we got a great show planned for you today for my first time listeners. Let's go ahead and put this out here. If you want in on this conversation, feel free to do so. The phone number here is 619-902-2287. Okay, 619-902-2287. All right, as long as we get that out of the way. And I'm gonna pay attention because I got everything right there for me, okay? Right in front of my eyes. Today's show is Real Eyes, Real Lies, Real Lies.
Boom.
Shout out to Tupac. Look, shout out to Tupac before it's time. Hey, listen, all right, let's go with, let's start this off on a light note. Roogle will be joining us really, really soon because we'll talk about in local news. We'll do that and talk about the last election that just occurred. So we'll get that going. But I want to know, what would be your last meal, Nyk?
Ooh, child.
What
That's
would
a
be your,
hard
if
one.
you could choose, what would be your last meal?
Honey, I would ask for rib, steak, pizza, Italian food,
Everything.
everything. I'm asking for everything. I'm going to be greedy.
Okay, I ain't mad at you for that. But if you had to choose one, if you had to choose one meal.
One meal, I definitely want I want the most expensive steak there is and the biggest one.
Okay. Okay, I can respect that. And what's gonna be your sides?
Baked potato, loaded baked potato with everything, and a salad. That's how I eat my steaks. Baked potato and salad.
So you are going to have a salad as your last meal?
With my baked, see, that's the thing. My salads are massive with everything, like a chef salad, basically.
Okay.
And my loaded baked potato with everything, and then my big old T-bone steak or porterhouse steak.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
You got it together?
Yeah, I got it together, and usually I can't eat the whole thing at once, so it serves for 2 meals.
You know what? I was sitting there, we were having this conversation. It's like, what would your last meal be? I could not think of what my last meal would be.
Really?
I couldn't. I was like, my last meal, if I had to choose, what would my last meal be? And I think it might be chicken and dumplings.
Oh, that's a good one.
Give me something that's gonna stick to me. let it stick to me for a little bit. We got one viewer on right now. Look, I'm like, one viewer. I see you, Art. I see you, Art. Art said, hey.
Hey, Art.
All right, one more time before we get going. 619-902-2287. I want to know what you think. So please comment below for the watchers. And for the listening audience, feel free to call in and join in to this conversation. All right. Suzanne Summer, you remember Chrissy? Off of Three's Company?
Three's Company.
She's still rocking the short shorts. But you know how I be. Yeah, she rock. But listen, she looking good at 74.
Okay.
Now here's the deal.
If you still got it, then hey.
That's what I said too. That's exactly what I said. But some of the people, you know how that goes. They have an issue with her being 74. It's a picture of her and her granddaughter. Her granddaughter got the short shorts on and she got them on. And they feel as though that once you become a grandmother at that age, you need to let it go. What's your thoughts?
If you still got it, flaunt it. Definitely.
Okay. I'm like, the woman looks good. Everybody knows Chrissy Snow. Let her rock what she wants to rock. All right, so there's some type of drama happening on The Real daytime show. Do you ever watch that?
I did until they put Tamar off of there, and then I stopped watching it.
Listen, that's why I stopped too. That's why I stopped. I thought that she added to the show.
Yeah, she did. It's like, why am I gonna continue to watch y'all drive behinds? I was going to say something else to catch myself real quick.
Do I need to let me get the bell? Let me get the bell just in case.
Just in case. Look, that's why I said I caught myself. But it's like she did add like a little spice to the show, that her attitude and lip popping and everything. So yeah, she did. And I mean, once she was off the show, I was like, and I just didn't agree with the way it happened.
Okay.
Especially since her husband was producing the show. But then now we all know that there was like all kinds of drama behind the scenes, because you never know, you never saw any of the real drama. You just saw, with them two. But it was just a lot of messing behind it. And I just no longer desired to watch the show.
Okay, tell me this. Do you think, I just want to know your opinion, public opinion. Do you think that he had something to do with it?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that, what do you think he had to, why do you think I feel as though he knew too. I'm with you on that one.
Right.
Why do you think that he did that? Because I just want to know, what would be the reasoning behind it? What do you think the reasoning would be behind it? I have my thoughts, but I want to know yours.
I'm thinking like whatever marital issues they started having, it like spilled over into that part as well. Because she did, like on different shows, when they first announced they were getting divorced, and then she finally, started talking about things. I think she did mention something about he had something to do with it, or knew, or he could have stopped it or whatever. But I do remember hearing her mention that one time. But I really think he had the power to, like, and if it was something that she did that they didn't like, I mean, why just ask her? Just let her know. Listen, I didn't like you did this, or you said that, or whatever. Just let her know. Don't just, because she really did make that show make somebody want to watch it.
And this is just my opinion and my views are not the views of the people on Shop Talk with Mel, but I felt like, first she was in the studio, she was doing her thing. And remember, he like procrastinated on her with her album, and they finally did that. She was blowing up, and these are just my views. Some men are not okay with women being the girl or that girl versus him being the man. You know what I mean? And then when she got on the reel, maybe she was extra. We already knew maybe she was too extra for him, and he kind of felt some type of way.
But he was married to her. He knew how extra she was. So, why are you getting away with her dollar? But I'm thinking the same way you, because let me tell you something. T.I. is the same way with Tiny. And then when they separated for that time, that she came out and she went back in the studio and they got back together with, Escape and everything. But it took for them to separate for Tiny, because a couple of times,
But Tiny was with Escape before. She was out before him.
Before him, exactly. But I remember, because I used to watch their show, the first one that they had. And I remember she was talking about, he had an issue with her getting back in the studio versus being the mother, because he said he's the one bringing the money. She didn't have to do nothing but stay there with the kids. But guess what? She was an entertainer. That's how you met her. So why are you trying to make her stay home with the kids now? How about you stay your behind home with the kids?
And there you have
so
it.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, what's his name? Vince was the same way. And, Tamar got tired of it. So yeah, I mean, and you're right. Some men do have a problem with it. And, it's like, dude, if this is what she was doing before you, then why are you going to get in the way? I mean, don't think of it as because I'm the breadwinner, this, and that. Even if she making more money, you think of it as combined income, y'all coming up together. And some men don't have that mentality. Okay, yeah, you know, I understand my wife or, you know, my girl make more money than me or whatever. Y'all coming up together. It shouldn't be about a competition. And some men like to make it about a competition. I think that's what that was.
Okay. You think it's a competition though? You really do?
With some men, yeah, especially those that have an issue with their woman
being in leadership or being
in leadership, right? I think it's a competition thing because some men will come out and tell you that they don't like it because it makes them, you know, they ain't gonna come out and say it makes them feel like less than a man, but in so many words, you know what they mean. But yeah, it's not making you any less of a man because you have a woman who's out there. In fact, you should feel proud of her. You should boast her up. Like, look what my woman, this is my woman. My woman got it going on. My woman got it together. She's doing this, this, and that. Some men just cannot bring themselves to do that.
You know, that's interesting. You should say that because we'll have, and I'll tell you how this ties together. You'll have where, and not all successful, but let's go with the sports guys. You know, or where we've been, you know, where you will hear Black girls, women always say, well, you know what? Or Kanye said it. Hey, and he did it. You know, they get to where they go and they're going to leave you for a white girl. And that you hear constantly that, you know, Black women are aggressive. Black women, you know, they got a smart mouth. They don't they're not passive where white women are. Now, this is just, you know, on the curb, word on the curb, okay? Don't beat me up. But I don't care.
No, it's been said.
I can take it anyway, but here's where I'm going with that. Do you think that successful Black women who date white men is because of this very reason? Black men feel as though, you know, that honestly, they don't want to compete. I'm not going to say they can't compete. They don't want to compete.
Right.
And they're like, I don't want to deal with that. Where, i.e., Kamala Harris. However, you saw that clip of last week. Y'all got to catch a show from last week. I'm telling you, where her husband was like, he did not have her back.
No,
I think if that was a brother, I think if that was that dude wouldn't have never even been able to get the microphone, even coming to somebody's spouse. Like, I don't know how
he
that
would have made it up on stage if it was a brother. You know that.
With the quickness, boom.
Yep.
That was interesting. And I'm like, okay, so he's in the background and, you know, letting her be. What is she? He's the first gentleman. Is that what they're calling him now?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think they're calling him like the first gentleman, but some men can't handle it. Some men can't handle female pastors or their wife. Like, it was that one show, Deidre Haddon was on, I can't remember, it was like the pastors. Because, you know, I love my reality TV, my reality TV.
Right.
And they had where they had pastors. It was one female pastor and her husband had to take a back seat to her because that was what she was doing. And he wasn't okay with it. And sometimes, go ahead.
But we're expected to be okay with it when it's the other way around. That's
why I wanted to bring it up when you were sitting there talking, when we were talking earlier and you were talking about, you know, the wife staying at home. You know what I mean? Like Susan Summer with her stuff, like, what's she supposed to do? Just sit at home and just take care? Yeah, traditionally, that I don't know. That's where we were. That's where we were. And it makes you wonder, things that make you say, So, you know, what you gonna do? But we're gonna move on to the real. Since we talk about the Tamar stuff, though we got on that and got off track a little bit. The real, they're getting hated on. With Jenny Mai getting hated on by the co-hosts. They say they're throwing a little bit of shade, but I'll catch you guys up who don't know and don't watch the real, because your girl got you covered. That's what I do. I see what's going on in the world, okay? All right, Jenny Mize getting hated on by the co-host because she did not invite them to her wedding. So, and I already know what your answer is because I see your eyes already. Do you feel obligated to invite your co-workers to like your wedding? Would you feel obligated?
No, especially if y'all not friends outside of the studio like that. You don't hang around or, hey girl, what you doing? Such and such. Come on, let's go have something to eat, or let's go have a quick strawberry daiquiri or something. If y'all not like that outside the studio, why is she obligated to invite you? No, she's not.
But you would think, I guess, like co-hosts are supposed to be friends.
They ain't always friends.
We see that with the talk with Cheryl Underwood and what's her name, Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah,
but they're supposed to be friends and being able to dialogue. And you would think with the chemistry that they're all friends, but they weren't. They felt some type of way not being invited to her wedding. Her
and Jeezy got married.
Oh yeah, they got married.
I missed that.
See, but I got you covered, girl.
Hey.
I got you covered. I just feel like, me personally, we can speak, we can do whatever, but to be invited to my wedding, like, that's a bad place because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or feeling guilty not because you didn't invite people.
Right.
Like, don't feel guilty. Don't invite me. Don't invite me to your wedding because we ain't even allowed to dance. You saw that, right?
Right.
But we're not allowed to dance with the whole COVID thing. But I wouldn't feel any type of way. The person that I think I would feel a type of way of, I don't think I would. There's a reason why you didn't invite me. Do I think that you dislike me? No. I'm probably not going to come, and not because I dislike you, but I'm not, sometimes I'll be tired.
Right.
And I appreciate the invite. But then with this whole pandemic, she may have had to scale down her list. Right. And you have before you go to work, you got your friends.
Right.
You have your friends. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, but I feel like, I just met you. So you're like, how to have work wives, work husbands. Right. You're like my work friend. Right. Like, do I bring you home?
Exactly. I mean, it's like that. But then, like, sometimes you can count on strangers more than you can count on some of your friends.
True. So you figure, okay, somebody that you may have been friends with years ago, you'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna replace them with this person. So you don't feel obligated to invite your coworkers?
Because especially if, like I said, you're cool on the job.
Okay.
And like you said, it's not that you dislike that person, but y'all don't have nothing in common outside of the job. You're not friends outside of, you don't call each other, hey, what you doing? Nothing like that. If you don't do that outside of your job, then no, don't be obligated to invite them. I mean, I do know a lot of people who have, got married and invited their co-workers, and their co-workers came. And I guess it's because they worked with them for so long and they did develop some type of friendship with them, even if it wasn't, outside. It's still the fact that but yeah, you're not obligated to.
Okay,
if
let's
go to hang with that person outside of the job, then no. And they really shouldn't feel any type of way.
All right, let's go to the comments. Lovely Breeze said that the norm is not normal for everyone. People need to do what works for them and not worry about everybody else. And she's absolutely right. Her comment on, as far as like wait a minute, she's not the first, the second gentleman. That's what it is. She said that as far as like insecure men, she said that's up to the female to make sure that he's not insecure about the household finances.
Right.
Now, here's the thing with that. Guys can come off secure and you don't realize that they are insecure until you get that bag. And they feel like, okay, you know, you're making more. And I know Roogle be on this part. Look, I'm like, where is he at? Come on, Roogle. Where he's okay. Because he had shared a story about his one friend saying that he couldn't date somebody that made more money than he did. And Roogle was saying, well, you just cut yourself off big time. So that means you're not going to date an actress, a supermodel, you know, anybody that's,
right.
You know, that's rich. You know what I mean? Let's be real. So you just cut yourself off. It's interesting. Exactly. And I think that's why a lot of guys date younger women. I do. I think it's something to that. Honestly, I feel like they date younger women because that younger woman will make them feel more intellectual because he can teach her things versus someone that's the same age. It's the same playing field. It's like, okay, let's see. I think dating somebody older, you have a lot in common and you still may have differences, but you could converse.
Right.
That one guy, I can't even remember who it was. Do you remember me saying dictionary.com? And he was older.
Wow.
And we couldn't converse because I would speak my norm, but he looked like the birds were chirping like, what's that? And and not using his context clues, you know, to figure out what I'm talking about. And I used to be like, dictionary, www.dictionary.com. Like, I'm going to need you to be there. But he was an older guy. And I guess I would be the younger one, but there's a problem. Our communication was off.
The communication wasn't on that level now.
Right. It was not okay. I'm trying to, and then Nick, if you can, to share it to my page. Are you able to share the live to my page?
Oh yeah.
Because that's what I'm trying to do. And then I'll go ahead and I can't look, I'm like, obviously can't get it. All right, the phone number here is 619-902-2287. So you said that, boom, you don't have to invite your coworker. So we all on the same page there. All right. Moving right along. The Tamron Hall show. You remember that? She was on the news. I forgot which channel. It was like a major morning news network that she was on. And then they put, was her name Megyn Kelly from Fox. Remember they fired her and then they put it in. Where is she at? Have you seen her? Me either.
Haven't seen nothing, hide nor hear of her.
I'm like, where is she at? But anyway, Tamron Hall has her own show now, and she's under fire by Dr. Ian Smith. And I think he's the author of The Fast Burn, something like that. And he's a Black doctor. And the reason that she's under fire is because she had told one of her publicists, allegedly, let me say allegedly, he said that she goes out of her way not to book Black experts. She allegedly, hear me well, people, told one of her publicists, we're not a Black show. What's your thoughts on that? And then I'll share mine.
We're not a Black show.
Yeah, she said, we're not a Black show. And he had a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, now why are you breaking it down into race? How about just, we're still human. How about that? Just human. Like, that didn't make any sense. That just,
you know, she probably, and him saying that, you guys can check that out, him saying that she goes out of her way not to book Black experts. That's his opinion. It's totally his opinion. But I don't know if it was more so of, we don't have to book all Black people. Like brown skin. Brown skin is about, brown skin comes on every Monday, is the clear and uncut conversations about us.
Right.
But her show, I think maybe she was pretty much saying, you know, we have a device, we have a show about diversity, you know, a diverse show, not just Black. So maybe it's like, don't just keep, you know, even though we do have, you know, intelligent Black, is a lot right. of Black experts, but she wants it to be broad. That's what I think she meant by that. That publicist was kind of shady.
Okay, so he trying to make it seem like, okay, I got you.
You know, I mean, I don't know. Like, were you trying to cause issue? Are you trying to cause issue?
Right.
I don't know. It's just real interesting how we tend to turn on each other. You know what I mean? Crazy, and yeah. I don't know if her publicist was white or Black. I really don't know. But I just feel like, why would you even put that out there? And they said that she goes out of her way not to book Black experts. She probably don't want to be in a box to like limit her show. See, Oprah had some people. She had a good team, because if that was the case, we didn't hear anything about it.
Right.
We didn't hear anything about it. But this guy, he slammed her for it, and he was like, no, the publicist told him that. And it's secondhand. I wonder if he ever took the time to actually talk to her and asked her.
Yeah. Because she may not even admit it like that, you know. So yeah, I kind of see. But yeah, you know, sometimes we do tend to throw shade sometimes at certain things without even.
Like this show. This is not a Black show. It's not a white show. It's a show for everybody. So right. I kind of, when I was listening to him speak, you guys can check it out, Dr. Ian Smith. I felt like I understood what she was talking about. Like, don't just put me in a box. We're for everyone. And, right. You know, they just went all out. Just went all out. Look. All right. The SWV and Escape, they're doing a versus. Did you hear about that?
I heard they were thinking about it, but I didn't know they actually gonna do it. Now I got it, cause I'll be missing them. I'll be forgetting about it, or either that, or they do the verses while I'm taking a nap in between jobs or something.
We work hard.
Yes, definitely.
We work hard. That who did Earth, Wind and Fire? Who did they do versus? Ozzy Brothers. That's that's right. That's when Thing came out. What's his name? Ron Isley.
Ron Isley.
The new Ron Isley.
Coming, as what they said, coming out looking all zaddy-ish. Or grand zaddy-ish.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. He looks good. Who hosted that? Did Steve Harvey host that one?
Yeah, I think he did. Yep.
Okay. Did you watch it?
No. I was asleep.
You were asleep. That'll do it. That'll do it. I can't sleep. I gotta have the news for the people. So SWV versus Escape. SWV, I say, is going to win it all day. Their catalog is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't really know Escape's catalog.
I do, but comparing it, I still say SWV got it.
SWV got it.
Uh-huh.
Their catalog is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The catalog is crazy. Escape. What song Escape sing? Understanding. That's what I remember.
Understanding. They had so much. Let me see. I'm trying to think. And I had their first CD, but they have kick is it Just Kick It or Just
Oh, there you go, Just Kicking It.
Yeah, and then they had like a couple different things. So, but
But what
yeah,
like jam? What fast music did they have?
I can't remember. I just remember most of the slow songs, and then right now I can't even remember the names of them. So yeah,
See, don't nobody want no slow music. We want the upbeat stuff.
right.
You know, that's just me. I want the upbeat stuff. SWV they have Weak. That's slow.
Right.
That was like it though. I'm more apt to go to a SWV concert than I am an Escape. When they did their tour, I had no desire to want to go.
Right.
I had no desire at all to want to go, honestly. Did you?
No.
No.
I wasn't about to spend no money to go see him.
You wasn't? Okay. See, I thought a lot of people really liked
I mean, back in the day, they was cool, but yeah, I just, I don't, yeah.
Did you, back in the day, were you interested in them though?
Yeah, I did listen to them back in the day, but now, nah, no.
See, I remember the outfits, and it was just another girl group, and I just was like, okay.
Right.
You know,
and I know they said Jermaine Dupri was trying to make them be like tomboyish, and
because that was the look. That was the look in the 90s.
That was look back in the day, and a couple of them really wasn't okay with it. So, but that's what they had to do.
But that was like the style,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that like Aaliyah, she kept it.
Yeah,
she kept the style, but that was the look. Cute girls, the big baggy jeans. That was the look. We was all rocking it. The flannels, you know what I mean? That was the look.
Yes, you done posted a couple of your bad girls pictures.
that
Doing
was, it. That was the look, and that's what we went for. They just didn't. I don't know. I was okay with them. They had to tell me that Candy. I knew who Candy was from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Right. I knew the group Escape. The whole group. I didn't really know any particular person. I do remember the name Tiny. I do remember that one. But I didn't really like know him to be like, oh, okay, you know, that's my jam. I'm gonna go ahead and buy the tape. I just wasn't interested. And that's when Atlanta was like really getting on the scene back there.
Right.
But I wasn't really a big fan. So I think SWV is gonna take it all the way.
Yeah, they definitely gonna rock that one. So
all right.
Listen, why did my brother, he met Taj a couple of years ago.
Oh, from SWV? From
SWV. This fool called me because they were at his wife's cousins, you know, used to play football for Tennessee Titans. So Taj's husband and Spanky are really good friends. So Spanky and his wife wanted
Taj is SWV. Go ahead. Yeah.
And so they had a big old party because the one son graduated from high school. So the whole family went down, and my brother went down, and you know, all his in-laws, they went down there for the party. So they had all these football players there and everything. And he met this fool go running outside, called me on the phone. He was like, guess who here? I said, who? He was like, Coco from SWV. I said, for real? So he was just like all excited, telling me about everybody that was there. So he was like, I'm gonna take a picture and I'm gonna post it on Facebook. He took a picture and posted it on Facebook. I had to call him back like, fool, that ain't Coco, that's Taj. He's like, watch us do with somebody from SWV.
You said it's somebody, huh? Yeah, because it's Lily, Taj, and Coco. Coco is the lead singer.
I said, that is not Coco, that is Taj, dum.
You say, I'm almost there though, huh?
He was close though, but he was just so excited. That just cracked me up. I fell out like, oh, that is not Coco.
Well, you know what, they wanted to come back on the scene, and Coco, which is the lead singer, she wasn't trying to do it.
Yeah.
Because she was saying that all of their music was more so like infidelity, adultery.
And she's into gospel music now. So yeah, I kind
she
of.
was actually in the gospel music back then. So she was having, she was having issues and fallouts with her family when she came into SWV, but everybody knows that soprano voice. I mean, it's like, that's it. You know, Coco is SWV.
Right.
She is SWV, but I do like the way that all of them play an intricate role, but her voice is a force to be reckoned with. It is one that you'll never ever forget.
Right, just like Whitney Houston, it's just that uniqueness, and just
like Whitney. And see, that's why I feel with Escape, I don't know anybody's voice to like stand out.
Tasha's
okay. See, I don't know anybody's voice to just like stand out. They try to say Candy because it's deep, but TLC already was out, so T-Boss had that.
Tasha really is the one that carried Escape.
Oh, that's why her. So that's why her and Candy had an issue, and then they said the Candy slept. This is all alleged, slept with Jermaine Dupri.
I didn't know about that one, but yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why they had an issue, because they always wanted
alleged. Y'all heard me say alleged. But even Taj ended up admitting to sleeping with their person.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, she ended up admitting to that.
Trying to sleep with somebody to get ahead, I guess.
Yeah. So that casting couch is something. Yeah, she admitted it on, I think, their reality show. I was watching something, but I do believe that she actually admitted it, but I'm gonna say alleged just to protect me. All right, let's move on to the International Olympics Committee. Now, you know the Olympics is supposed to be in Tokyo, right? Well, they banned BLM apparel. So they banned Black Lives Matter apparel.
Why?
They don't want it. They said it violates their racial, political, and religious beliefs.
But the Asian people wanted the Black Lives Matter to back them up.
You heard Nyk said it. Look.
Like, yeah. You wanted the Black Lives Matter movement to back you up, but you banning any type of Black Lives Matter t-shirts, hats, anything, scarves, mask, because it violates. Okay, but you wanted them to back you up.
Well, they said that it violates racial, political, and religious propaganda.
Okay, but you wanted them to back you. How, Sway?
Right? Listen, I don't know, but I kind of feel like we don't know if that's that shut up and play type thing. But back in, don't quote me on the year, I want to say 67 or 68, the Olympics, way back where Tommy Smith and John Carlos, it's iconic, where they had their fist up in the air. That one, and Muhammad Ali. When they won the Olympics, they showed, they were pretty much saying Black Lives Matter, not the organization, but they actually showed, they showed, well, that was their way, I'll say, in my terms of protesting, of saying, okay, here you go. You know what I mean? We matter. Like letting you know of the social injustices back then. So it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. So I don't have to, if it was me, I wouldn't have to wear a Black Lives Matter hat or t-shirt or anything like that. How come you just can't do something, put your fists in the air, even though we know Colin Kaepernick kneeled and that was an issue. Yep.
What they gonna do? Ban the person or take their gold medal away from them if they kneel? Listen, the way stuff is going nowadays, they probably will try.
You know what? There was some repercussions behind that. And I wish Roogle was here so he can look and research it really, real quick. I think it wasn't. We're gonna have to talk about that because they did that during the civil rights movement. They did that during that civil rights movement. Okay. But I feel you on that. I feel you on, it's like, okay, so, but you know what, in Tokyo, they got so much extra stuff going on over there with the Muslims and everything. So like, yeah, houseway.
Right. Like
they got their own issues going on over there. So it makes you wonder, like, okay, so what? I believe there's some consequences for Smith and Carlos doing that. I gotta look and see. So we'll look, I'm like, we'll move right along. Okay. Will Smith. Will Smith's dad body, quarantine body, because remember I was telling y'all about the dad bodies is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It is not coming back. I will not accept the dad body.
Them pictures was funny though, because a friend of mine replicated in his house and in his front yard. I was like, you know what? I'm ready to fight you right now.
He showed his quarantine. He showed his quarantine body.
That is too funny.
It was a mess, and he looked a mess. And I like me some Will Smith, but I won't take it. I won't take that body. No,
you looking crazy.
I got my own issues with quarantine, but I will not, like, no. I don't care how much money you have.
Right.
Yeah, I just think that, to each his own. To each his own. But some people. Okay. Oh, Lord. Look, I'm like, some people just don't care. Remember back in the day, people were with the drug dealer.
Oh yeah.
And it didn't matter what he looked like. He had money.
As long as he had money, he was making that money. Them girls was flocking. They didn't care if he, like I always say, if he had an eyeball in the middle of his forehead, they was with him. Yeah.
Like, why? Help me elaborate. Help me to understand that.
Because he was spending that money on them girls, taking them to Vegas, and that's how a lot of these little heifers went to Vegas and doing this and wearing all the expensive clothes and having all the expensive purses because the homie was spending that money. Wanting to fight every other girl because not only you was the main girl, but he had all these side chicks he was doing for too. But back in the day, they would fight, but then again, some of them just had the girls on lock, had them on check. Listen, you my girl, but when I'm here, I'm doing this and that. You just gotta understand, I was never that type. Nope, we not doing that. Yeah, I wasn't the type because I'm like this. Being with a drug dealer, you never know when your house gonna get broken into or whether y'all out somewhere and the cops gonna run up on y'all because if you with them, you going down too. I was not okay with that. I don't do jail well unless it's something I did.
Say you don't do jail well.
Right, unless it's something I did, or you messing with one of my family, then I'll rock that orange jumpsuit. But other than that, I'm not going because you selling drugs. That's your. So I wasn't. I had a couple of them used to want to talk. No, we ain't going over there. I'll meet you. I ain't go. We can go to a restaurant, but I'm like, sitting there praying like, please just don't have nobody run up on us. But then I was just like, no. Y'all got that. I didn't, and listen, like you said, they didn't care what they looked like because they had the money. I cared.
See, that's kind of like, but aren't you teaching them to be like prostitutes?
Basically, yeah, because they was spending the money on them, so they was doing whatever they told them to do, being a little, drug mule and everything else, running here and there.
See, that's team too much. You're right. I ain't going to jail for nobody. Nobody at all. Well, they slamming Will Smith because he showed his quarantine body and he modeled, but he making his money because they feel as though that he's profiting off of his body. He partnered with a company, I won't name the company, to, I guess, to pretty much show that, you know, that he, I don't know, like the weight loss, kind of like with Weight Watchers. Wasn't that Jennifer
Oh,
Hudson
okay.
or somebody
Yeah.
who was doing Weight Watchers? So what's wrong with him profiting? What do you think? What's wrong with him profiting off of his quarantine body and partnering up with someone to lose weight, or a company like them pills?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Or those gummies.
You getting them coins. I ain't mad at you. If whatever you do, if there's some making of coins in behind that, do it. Do it. Besides prostitution, but do it.
When you say do it, okay. Are we?
Do it.
Do you think that we are still obsessed as Americans with weight?
We are, most definitely are, because you know you have people fat shaming us big girls. And I would flip you off, but then you know, we gonna keep this. This is a family show, but yeah, you know, dudes. And what kills me is the big dudes that want to fat shame us big girls. Dude, for real? Like you over there?
I can't find you. Look, I can't find you.
Thank you.
Lift your
and you
stomach
over
up.
there. Listen, you over there 350 pounds, and you talking about a 250-pound woman. Boy, bash, shut up. The same thing you want her to do, you need to go do. Go get on a treadmill. Go. But yeah, that we still fat shame people. We're upset with weight. Definitely.
What you think, Roogle? Love Roogle. Yay, welcome, Roogle. Where my little
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Look, you missed the hot topics, but you could get into the real stuff. But go ahead.
I've been fat shamed before, plenty of time. Oh yeah.
What they say?
One of the funniest things that came to mind, I got fat shamed on a date. Where I ordered the portion came in a half or full, and I was like, oh, and she's like, yeah, he'll take a half. I was like, huh, really? Will I? You know?
Well, who was paying for the date? Was she paying for the date?
Of course not.
Okay, then how is she gonna tell you you were spending the money?
Well, like it was a date. I mean, it's like it was no more than that. It didn't turn anything more than that. But maybe because I was, you know, too pleasantly plump, I guess. I don't know.
Well, then why did she go out with you then? If she felt like that, she shouldn't have went out with you.
Because I'm so charming. Why wouldn't she, right?
For his money.
For my money, right? Yeah.
For his money. Like,
I got a jar of pennies. We can split this all day long, baby.
That is so interesting. But you know what? Let me say this. From my big people, interesting when you say fat shaming, and how can, if he fat and then tell you fat,
right?
How about that bigger person, like Roogle said, fat shame, talking about he'll take the half. How about that bigger person be telling you or monitoring your plate up there, the food Nazi?
Yeah,
I had somebody do that. I had somebody look at my plate and tell me what I should be eating on my plate. And I didn't say anything. I thought it was hilarious because I'm looking like, meanwhile, you ordering dessert.
Okay.
What is that about?
That's crazy.
And you can take it one or two ways. Because this is what I did, because y'all know it's okay to be you. Allow people to be who they are. The one way is you got a lot of nerve.
Right.
The other way is maybe I should listen to this person because that's probably how they got to their size.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So maybe that, you know, they're saying it out the goodness of their heart.
They're trying to save you
from getting where they were. But I like a thicker guy. I don't like a fat guy, though. Like, it need to be solid. a stomach is a turnoff to me. So like Will Smith, like I was saying with Will Smith, I like me some Will Smith. He's on my bucket list, not to do, but to meet.
Right.
I used to want to go to the prom with Will Smith. Okay. I was like, I got to meet Will Smith. I have to meet Will Smith. I love me some Will Smith. But that body right there, that was not the move. And that was such a turn off. But I still want to meet him.
I mean, but come on. I see that clip. Like he was doing his best to push out his stomach. I mean, that wasn't like, I mean, come on. I mean, that's a guy who could like,
I mean,
okay.
you can tell he was pushing his stomach out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he might be a few pounds overweight, but that dude ain't having no weight issues. Now, if he came back and you know, then he had the beard and everything like that. I mean, you know, nah. I get
maybe listen, and maybe he, because you know, actors, they have to be willing to do everything, every and anything. Maybe he is trying to gain weight for a new role coming.
No, he gaining weight for he profiting off of it. So I guess I'll stick my stomach out and profit off of if they call me for Weight Watchers or something like that.
I mean, let's put it like this. I mean, like he 50, he over, like, is he like 52 or 50 something?
Yeah, I think he's 53, 52, 53, somewhere around there.
So that makes it okay?
No, but I'm saying, like, look at Will Smith in that picture, and look at some people that might be like, you know, not Will Smith.
And I don't,
you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like,
they gonna float away.
He ain't in super Hollywood shape, right? He ain't about to be an Avenger right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's put it out there like that. But the dude is not fat. You know, he ain't on the brink of like, oh my God, I think he's gonna have a heart attack. You should have known by now.
Now, you know what? Nick got a point. It could be like for the roles, like Denzel. Remember when Denzel got fat for that role?
Nah. For was that Antoine? What was it called? Not Antoine Stewart. What was that? It was the movie where he was the husband, but his wife. It was Antoine Fisher.
There you go, Antoine Fisher. Was it Antoine Fisher?
It had Derek Luke in it.
Whatever movie.
Okay, yeah.
I remember, and he wasn't looking. He wasn't Training Day Denzel. Training Day Denzel was colder than a mug.
Ooh, yeah.
What year was that though? 2000. What year was 2000?
I don't.
You talking about 20 years ago?
But
2000 something, but still. Denzel was.
Yeah. He had sex appeal though. Denzel, the way like his swag, his walk, he, you know, so that was his thing. So I ain't gonna harp on it. I'm just.
He still got sex appeal at his age now. Child, listen.
But when he was fat, I was like, he is not cute. Like, oh.
Yeah, but you know, they have to lose weight for roles. They have to gain weight for roles. You know,
and he got a whole wife, so. It ain't my business.
Kids, right?
Yeah, it ain't my business.
It's like Oscar nominated, not Oscar nominated actors, right? Yeah.
You know, we were just talking about the International Olympics Committee. Were you able to listen in on that? Saying that Black Lives, they banned Black Lives Matter apparel.
Really?
Yes.
The Olympics.
The Olympics in Tokyo. And I was talking about how, remember back when Tommy Smith and John Carlos, they did the iconic, remember when they was, and what was that, 1967 or 68? Well, I read about a long time ago, but anyway.
Yeah, I can't remember the year, but even before then, you had was it Jesse Owens?
Oh yeah.
Who outdid the Nazis? You know, I mean, Nazi Germany. You know what I'm saying?
But they were protesting. But they were protesting racism back then, and they didn't have shirts. You know what I mean? So,
right.
I want you, Roogle. What's your thoughts on that?
I think the thing is like the Olympics should. This is the thing. Is that this is the ultimate criticism of this. They will actually ban countries from competing if they don't like their politics.
So you think
right?
politics, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So if there's people within a country that is being considered acceptable for whatever reasons, and there's still oppression in that culture, and those people are standing against that oppression, they're not eliminating that country. Right? They're not saying like, well, America can't compete. Look at all the things that are happening. Now, you know what I mean? They're not eliminating those people, but there are countries that they will say, oh, you can't compete, like North Korea. You know what I mean? Like and I may stand, if someone can correct me, please do so. But I don't believe there's been an Olympiad from that country. I don't know. You know, but we've seen this before, where there's been sanctions based off of the political actions of those nations. You know, and so in this case, if there's people that feels oppressed in a country that's where you deem it acceptable, you're saying that they don't have that ability to be able to use that global stage. I don't like it.
Clearly,
I don't like it. You know, I mean, because even the thing is that, like, for example, like you talked about the people, even you know, they took that stance and they did what they had to do, and it's been one of the most iconic images of the Olympics.
Okay, all right. We're gonna go to the viewer. The viewer said it's 1968. I said 1968, so that was the year. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, Dennis. The white guy got in trouble for doing that in his own way. Okay. Roogle, you hit the nail on the head. I think it is the politics of it. And this is why they said they banned it. They banned the Black Lives Matter apparel because it violates the racial, political, and religious propaganda. But it's all politics, like you said. And Nyk actually said, Nyk said, oh, okay, but you wanted Black Lives Matter to ban with you for the hate against Asians.
Well, that's a different, this is different.
Okay.
We talking about Asian Americans here, you know, versus the whole, you know, and the thing is, the Olympic Commission is not, they pick a location where it's done. So it's not like all Asians have control. What country is it going to be in?
Tokyo. It's going to be in Tokyo.
It's not like all people of Japan have control over what's going to be done there. There's a commission that's made up of global interests.
Yeah, that's why it's the International Olympics Committee.
Yeah, so that committee made that rule, not that country.
But doesn't that make you think that this is why we're doing this here? You know, never mind. Just let it go. Would you think that it's that shut up and play thing? Remember they said that about LeBron? Who was that lady? Remember her?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, like it's essentially that, you know, but let's see here. Countries banned from the Olympic Games, 1920. Oh, there's a whole list.
We ain't got that kind of time.
Yeah, I just want to see, like, I'm gonna go to recent day.
Okay.
Okay. Because at one time, okay, let's look at it like this. Where is it? 1964, Tokyo. South Africa was banned from the IOC from taking part due to the oppression apartheid regime. This ban lasted until 1992. Right?
That's like yesterday.
But the point I'm saying is that, like, you know, they banned them because of what? Oppression to a group in their country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people may not want to look at what's going on lately as apartheid, but the issue is that there is so much weight to what's going on that these athletes are a part of, because the biggest thing about the Olympics is what do? before the person even competes, you know about what hometown they come from, what things they overcame, all that kind of stuff, right? And so these people of these even when you talk about the because someone mentioned there was a young lady of I can't remember if she was Chinese or Japanese or whatever, but she was a Olympic karate hopeful or Olympian, and this guy like talked terribly to her, like he didn't want her exercising at a park or whatever, blah blah. He just went on this rampage, and really technically she probably could have kicked his ass, right? But like she didn't do any of that stuff. And this guy ended up getting charged, and he had some other things he was doing. They try to say he was mentally ill or whatever. But the point was that if she goes to the Olympics and she's bringing about knowledge, I'm not saying what her agenda is. Her agenda is just to be an athlete, from what I can tell, and win the gold, right? But the point is that she has experienced racism.
Okay.
You know, she has experienced racism. And the thing people have such a hard time with is that they like, well, why would you do that at a football game? Why would you do this here? Why would you do that there? Why would, and I'm like, well, why wouldn't a person use their platform to talk about the bad things that they faced? And for some reason, if it was anything else, if it was a disease somebody had, if it was something else somebody was facing, and they brought that up on the platform to which they were related, which they excelled at, it would be perfectly acceptable. But in this case, when you have people who bring up the atrocities that are happening that could potentially happen to them, and is happening to others because of the color of their skin, now there's some sort of like, oh, this is so wrong. Why are you doing this? Why are you messing up our pastime? Well, the thing is, I'm trying to bring attention to a larger audience about an injustice.
They don't want to hear
just like any picket line is what I'm trying to engage a larger audience about an injustice
in the workplace,
workplace, on Wall Street,
right?
On,
yeah,
in a courtroom, wherever it is, and people forget why protests happen. I mean, the thing, and that right now we have this kind of counterculture of protests that are happening with like no evidence of disruption. I'm talking about this whole Trumpism sort of thing.
Right. Now, listen. Now let's go to the politics.
Oh, Lord.
Wait. Yeah. That's on you. But wait. What was the consequences for Smith and Carlos when they protest racism?
Let me see if they mention them.
Okay.
Because this list I have, it doesn't actually talk about. It just talks about countries that were banned.
Okay.
I can Google that and see. You might want to move on. I can chime in later.
Let's go with these politics. We're going to start with the local news. Local news. I witnessed some things. I read some things and went on social media, and I saw where different people were commenting. We're talking about we had the mayoral and the president of council, city council. I believe that's what we were voting for. So we had Joyous and Love. We had Joyous. We had R. Kelly. We had Mayor Tito Brown. Julius Oliver. He's city council, first ward. So
who's R. Kelly?
Ryan Kelly.
Okay, thank you.
That's how I remember Ryan Kelly. You're like, right? Listen, R. Kelly got like almost 1,500 votes, or was it a little over 1,500? And
he had almost 1,600 votes.
Okay, almost 1,600 votes. Mayor Tito Brown, who was on the show, 2 Saturdays ago? Man, I love that. I love that when, I just over the airways, hey, boom, 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 he came right on. That's who you want. Somebody that could just reach out like, here you go, I heard you. Boom, let me clear some things up. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor Tito Brown, and congratulations on your win. And then you had Julius Oliver, who is the First Ward City Council, and you had R. Kelly. Like nobody knew who R. Kelly was, but they found out that Ryan Kelly, you know, I remember that he had pizza shops, Belleria, that were known for locally.
Oh, okay.
See, you didn't even know. Now here's the thing. People, excuses. Now listen, excuses are monuments of nothing. So just go ahead and just pal them, you know, set them down there. But to say, okay, well, he got all those votes because he owned Belleria. Do you really think people voted for him because of some Belleria pizza and he was giving out Belleria pizza? Isn't that what you're supposed to do when you campaign? Give me an Emory board.
Right.
You might get my vote. Go ahead,
well, I think the issue is that sometimes I mean, look at Donald Trump. He used his position in wealth to win a campaign.
But that's normal, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm saying like this is what they say when they say if you have it, flaunt it, sort of thing.
Okay.
The issue is that can the average voter look past that? You know, so some people felt like, I'm using Trump as the example, like, well, he's a successful businessman because he's been on TV and blah, blah, blah. And there are people that know of the failures of the bankruptcy, Trump's business. Yeah. But then there are people who are like, well, that's just the cost of doing business. And he has this amount of money, but never turned in his tax returns and all that other stuff. Right. But still, even if he turned in his tax returns, he got more money than I got. But you know what I mean? That most Americans will have. But the thing is, I think some people bought into that idea that he's a savvy businessman and he'll be able to do it. But his savviness has come from the corruption of not paying people, you know, having fake colleges, you know, discriminatory acts against people to rent homes and all that other stuff, you know. I mean, there's been a plethora of things that made, you're savvy, but you're savvy on the dirty end of it, right? You know, and that's the Trump thing. You know, with this gentleman, it could have been like, hey, our product, our family's product, I don't know if it's his family, I don't know what his connection is to Belleria. I didn't even know that till today from hearing you guys talk about it.
He brought a whole bunch of pizzas in, but I mean, people vote for you for reasons, you know.
I mean, they might vote for you for reasons, but they could vote for you for brand recognition. You know, I mean, like, for example, we have Nyk Roogle, who's one of our state senators, who happens to be
Roogle brothers.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, could that have helped him? Because I know they sell chicken breasts at a really reasonable price, but you know what I mean.
That's a good family. I'll vote for him.
But you never know. You know, that name recognition. You know, like it's like when you get people who put out 1,000 signs. You know, and the old adage in politics is signs don't vote, people do. So
now,
you know, when you
start seeing about that, what was that one young lady who was running locally? This is for the Youngstown, Ohio area, to the listening audience and the viewers. And we're going to talk about the local news real quick. What about that one young lady? What was her, Hagen?
Yeah.
And it was like, hold on, and then we had Lepore Hagen. She is, what is she?
Michelle Lepore Hagen is a state representative.
State rep, yeah. And she was like, we are not related, but people do vote according to name recognition. They really do. But so that was R. Kelly with his stuff. And I ain't had no picture with the Fonz. I called him the Fonz, R. Kelly, because he has hair slicked back. Didn't know him at all.
The Fonz.
But
when you keep saying R. Kelly, you keep throwing me, and I start thinking about like Chocolate City or Chocolate Factory or whatever it's called.
And look, and still got it. And then you had Julius Oliver, who got 14% now of the votes. And I was just really kind of taken aback where I saw different posts where grown people were laughing at, and it's just my thoughts. I mean, just laughing at how he only got like 714, but I thought that was pretty doggone good, because we know our boy used to get 3 and 4 votes, but he kept on going. He ain't give up.
No, he got 153 votes.
But the last time, Joe T.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, but before that, you know, he used to be like 7, 6. He kept going, so it didn't matter. At least one person voted for the individual. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the detail. We gonna break it on down. When I seen that, I was like, I don't think that, but it's just me, I wouldn't have posted something like that. It just shows, and it wasn't even his opponent. It just shows like pettiness to me. That was just petty to me. And then Julius, I did read, actually I didn't read. I did actually read in the paper, but I watched the video he came on, and I think it was called, I don't know, what, something of a champion. I can't even remember what his caption was, but he spoke about losing it. He said that he got his A whooped and all this other stuff. And he said that he didn't win because he didn't, and I'm just, you know, kind of condensing it. He didn't win because he didn't really put himself out there. But the word to the curb, people in the streets, the lovely people said that they didn't vote because they felt as though, vote for him because they felt as though that he was a bully. Now, these are the people from the street that said, you know, because I asked the question, like, I just want to know, you know, why, so that I can have a show. Why wouldn't you vote for this person? Why would you vote for this person? A lot of the older people said that they, you know, they don't like change, and they understand, you know, Tito just got in and, you know, having to correct what was messed up prior to. And if you look at 2 shows ago, he kind of explained what happened with the monies and trying to recoup that. So, which I thought was really good. You know, older people are like, well, no, we don't need change yet. We need to see what he's able to do. And a lot of the older people, you know, felt like he's a bully. And what I did notice is that it was, you know, a lot of the church folk goes out and they're not for Julius, because they said he's just like a bully. We already had that in the White House for 4 years. So we don't need that in our area. Now that's just what the people say. So what's your thoughts, or what's your take on what the people think?
The vote showed it.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like the vote showed it, you know, but there is another element to it that, you know, sometimes people feel that,
and arrogance.
If you split a vote, if you got a candidate that's a good candidate, and then there's a vote that could potentially be split, does that community who championed for that first person, do they lose out if that split impacts a change that it's not related to, it's not either one of the candidates who are vying, you know, who are vying for, you know? So I think some of the cases, like, you know, people see, and then, I'm not trying to challenge someone's ambitions for being sabotaged for someone else, because you know, technically it is that, you know, if you run for office, someone has, you want to win that office, you know, I mean, that's obvious. You know, the issue just becomes the people who are represented in that city want to make sure that there is a stability, and that stability may be getting behind the person that has actually shown them a history of work that supports what they want to do in the future.
Okay, what about those? What about those who actually talked about, and hopefully he's listening so he can hear what the people are saying, you know, what about those who say that Chill Can company in his ward is sitting there dormant? They thought they were going to bring jobs to the community, and people had their homes with their memories, and they were torn down and bought out, and nothing's happening, and they could have still been in their home.
Yeah, I mean, there's, go ahead, Nick.
He also talked about bringing a lawsuit against the owner of Chill Can company because of that very thing. You know, you had us move these people from their homes, and, you know, people waiting on these jobs and nothing, because there's potential other places that are looking at this like, what are they going to do? Because they can move right on in and bring those jobs. So I do know he was talking about you know, trying to sue them.
Yo, you talking about Julius?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
go ahead, Roogle.
Look, I sit on it. I sit on the this is maybe this is separate myself from who I am, from my personality on this show, right?
Okay, go ahead.
And so there was a vote about removing the tax abatement for, and this is public information, it was broadcast on TV or whatever, you know, and I made a comment about like, I want this vote, like, I don't think the Chill Cans vote should be considered with the majority of the other businesses that we're accepting for this thing, just because I didn't feel comfortable voting overall for everybody with them included, just because of what was going on. But the city at that time was saying, hey, we're working with them to, you know, they're attempting to work with us. And they actually, I guess, submitted a proposal. I got an ad today. Now I didn't get a chance to read it. But at that particular point in time, I felt like I was the only person on that call that was kind of like, why are we giving these folks another chance?
Okay.
You know, but the thing is that regardless of the fact if the business was successful or not, we have so much green and brown space in Youngstown that was it worth having a whole community, having a whole neighborhood removed for a business, even if it was prosperous? You know, I mean, that's the thing, especially like, it's not like we don't have space. We got plenty of space and where anything can go
as
here.
fast as they tear
you know,
down.
the criticism that I heard was that how do you work towards removing a neighborhood to put in a business, but then use your political power to have a commercial space turned into residential for your own property? You know, that was one of the things I heard. You know, so I
did too. I did too.
So
go ahead.
You know, but you know, also I heard a snippet of the video. I heard more than a snippet. And there was a thing where, you know, he had mentioned that he wanted he mentioned something that was going on in, I think it was Warren, where they had a city council member who had been on council for 30 years and got voted out or something of that nature. And he said, well, he didn't want a city. He didn't believe that one person's vision should be over a city for a period of time. But during, and this is prior to Tito, when he was a part of the legislative body of city council, there was legislation, there was an actual vote on the ballot that talked about daylight savings time and adjusting to having the mayor and city council have unlimited terms. You know, and so for me, I found that issue to be a problem just because this has been a city that's been trying to fight its way out of corruption. You know, and what we've seen from the school board's perspective is that absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. You know, and so the thing is that we know that there's elections held and things like that, but it would have been, I think we would have been better off to have a system, like, for example, Cleveland has unlimited terms for its mayor. And there's people saying, hey, we need a desperate change because we had the same guy for 16 years and they don't see the progression that they should have had or a different vision for what the city could be. You know, and the thing is, in some places, maybe it works excellent, you know, maybe it does. But the issue is that, will democracy rise above people's agendas?
There you go. Agendas, because that's what it boils down to. There was a snippet in there that I did pay attention to where he was saying that his family didn't vote for him and it hurt him. Do you think, or do you expect your family, if you were running for office or whatever it is, do you expect your family and friends to vote for you?
I think the thing is that you would hope that they would, but the thing is, if they don't believe in the direction that you have set, then why they're free. That's why it's a secret ballot. You know, they're free to do what they want. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think, I mean, that's what we have currently right now, is that we have people so devoted to a person versus like Donald Trump. It's people like, well, they call it Trumpianism or whatever now. Right. You know, it's people devoted to this guy more than they're devoted to the nation. I mean, we seen that on January 6th when the Capitol was raided. You know, and I know this it's a far stretch, but the point I'm saying is that everyone has their own, in this country, own right to choose who they want to lead, regardless of what that relationship should be. You know, the issue is, have you showed enough people the benefit of having you in office versus choosing somebody else? And that has nothing to do with who you're related to.
Okay, what's your thoughts, Nyk?
I would definitely hope my family would vote for me, but then I have to show them that I'm serious and, you know, and be dedicated to what you are trying to do, whatever change you're trying to make. You have to be dedicated to that. So like, maybe the family didn't vote because they know something the rest of the people don't.
That could be true, but the issue though too is that, like, let's really talk about the numbers. You would have to have almost 4,000 people that you're related to in order to win, if that was going to be the reason why you won.
Yeah, because
you know what I'm saying. I mean, that's
him and R. Kelly together still didn't.
Yeah, they were at about what 2,400 votes. So they still would have, you know, even combined numbers still would have lost by 1,000 votes, and that's prior to the because all we have the unofficial numbers. Those unofficial numbers don't have the provisional ballots, so we don't know what those numbers would be. But what we do know is that there are not enough provisional ballots, even if all of them went to one candidate, for it to overturn the election. You know what I mean? So that's the thing there, is that, you know, you have to inspire more people. I don't know if it has anything to do with relation.
You know what? My thoughts on, and I'm gonna weigh in on this. I don't expect, if I was running for office or whatever it was or is, I don't expect my family and friends to vote for me. I would want them to, but I wouldn't just expect them, like, okay, well, I know I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wouldn't expect them. It's almost like this. This is how I look. Everybody had a family member that sold Tupperware or them knives. Them knives is $1,000. You got to convince me you got to convince me why I should purchase a pair of knife for $200, almost $200. You have to convince me. You have to convince me why I need this Tupperware. I'm not just going to support you just because you're family. I'm being real. I'm gonna be honest. You have to. I'm not buying Roogle, the chef. I liked a certain thing he make, those, you know, those shrimp, you know, I'm talking about the same stuff. He ain't never made it before, but I was convinced. I was sold on that.
Sold on it, but did not order a tray though.
That's because you wouldn't make it anymore.
Man, I was in hot business right then and there when that came out. No, everybody loved it, but nobody ordered that. Nobody ordered a tray of that. You know, for a hot $40, you could have had a whole not a half tray, but a whole tray of that. Look at that time. Look at
that. Look at that. But I was sold on that. I didn't, you know what I mean? I just feel like you have to convince me and show me that you are the best person for the job, or the best person to do this, or the best knife seller. You know what I mean? Because them knives was high. And supporting somebody, I'm not just going to just say, here you go, here's my money because I'm supporting you, and then I have no use for it. Meaning, like, if it was, if you're running for mayor, just because you're related to me does not say you have one sure vote because I'm related to you. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, I want you guys to vote for me because you feel as though that I am the best person for the job, not just because I'm a relative or I'm a girl, or like a lot of people voted, you know, like Hillary.
Don't be talking about Obama now.
You know, I was about to go to Obama. Like, a lot of people felt like, okay, well, I'm gonna vote for him because he's Black. I voted for President Obama because I felt that he was the best person for the job. So I wasn't looking at just like, okay, his color and black, you know, black votes black. We know that ain't it. Because let's be real, even with, you know what, let me put it, I got something else going in my head at the same time. You have black on black. It was so interesting watching the different things that's going on. And yes, Tito was there, but it was interesting watching how hard, like they had, for instance, they're blaming Tito for the crime on the streets. Now, I had a problem with that. You know, the people dying in Youngstown. Well, when McNally was in, did they blame McNally?
Youngstown been having crime for as long as I can remember. And
did they blame Pat and Daryl?
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, why is it that we do that to our own? So we have it's annoying, it's disappointing, because it's like, okay, if somebody white does something, you'll be like, oh, okay. And you find a reason to attack your own.
Right.
And
that's crazy.
And that bothers me. And I'm gonna tell my white people something. As a Black person, we're afraid of the same things that you're afraid of in the community. They just live right next door to us or down the street or in our area. Mm-hmm. So when the police comes, we need that protection too. Not for you to be against all of us and say, okay, all of y'all together. No, we have the same fears. You know how they come into our community, they like geared up like, oh, wait, here you go. Like we had the peaceful protest and they came with all that gear. Dude, it was peaceful. All of us are not the same, but we do as people, regardless of the color, white people, we have the same fears. The difference is you go home wherever you are. Some people are in the neighborhoods, but we like right next door. You know what I mean? We next door to the killer. So we like even more nervous. So we need y'all to come. I just had to just put that out there just to let people know, like, don't think, oh, okay, well, they're Black, they all the same, and all of them are, all of them respond the same way. Not true. I just had to just put that out there. I want you to go a little broader with the whole thing. You know, your boy Trump is not allowed on Twitter. They didn't let him on Facebook or Twitter when he petitioned to come back on. What's your thoughts on that?
It's a private business.
Okay.
So, you know, no shirt, no mask, no shoes, no service.
Okay.
It's funny why no pants isn't on there, right?
Interesting, right? You know what? No shoes, no shirt. You're right.
Somebody be naked from the waist down.
So now somebody about to come in there, no bottoms on. See what I'm saying?
No,
you gave them an idea.
But you know what he's saying, though. I mean, most people they would know not to come here with no pants on. But little bit of funny.
Right.
But you know, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if they feel like they don't want to give him a platform, you know, then they don't. There was actually a similar thing that happened in a Middle Eastern country. I can't remember exactly which one, but it was a actress. I want to say she was tied to Bollywood, so maybe it was India or whatever, but I can't. I'm just giving the example. Well, she came out against this one person, and she actually, like, I guess, used some language that would have been seen as like insurrection, like making a riot happen or whatever, similar to what happened here. And actually her thing was a lot more vivid, and they removed her. And so they talked about, well, do you want, like, these people are moving to certain platforms where they have that voice. And someone who was doing the interview, they were interviewing, said, well, the thing is that won't help them, because who are they going to troll? You know, if they're only on their own platform, who are they going to troll? Which made sense. You know, are they going to troll each other for the same ideals, or get who's you know? Then it becomes an issue of who's deeper in it versus that. It is like like people who have these adverse ideas. They want they want a larger platform to be able to speak it versus like their own little corner to talk about it. You know what I mean? So that was an interesting view on it, because if there was, let's say there was a Twitter or Facebook or whatever that was, I mean, they had Parler, right? I think it was owned by Facebook or something like that, and they end up shutting it down or whatever they did to it. But the thing was that like having your own platform where everybody thinks the same as you may not actually be appealing to people who are a part of this a part of this movement that they're supporting.
So you think, because remember he was supposed to get his own thingy? Remember?
Yeah, I know they talked about it. Yeah.
Someone said, a coworker said that they did have it, but I guess it wasn't.
Well, I mean,
it wasn't diverse enough. They weren't able to recruit.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, if you're talking to the same 5 people about the same issue, you can't push that other person that's over. They'd be teetering on the fence to your side. You can't pull them over to your side if it's this your platform. And the whole issue with this is like one of those things where, I mean, like any platform, people use it and they want to appeal to people to at least understand what they're experiencing, even if they don't live it, so.
Okay, we'll go to a viewer, and a viewer comment when I was asking a question as far as like the consequences that Tommy Smith or John Carlos had. A viewer said that it messed up their future jobs in the sports arena. And Tommy Smith was at Oberlin College and he spoke at YSU, the hometown, almost 50 years ago. So thank you, LeVan. Thank you very much for keeping us informed and letting us know. Roogle gonna fact check it. Is it fake or is it fact? Let us know.
I mean, there definitely was a negative impact to it, but the thing is that the world knew. You can't take that away. When the world knows, now the world, even if they don't try to hold that, even if they don't have the ability to hold that country accountable, whatever country that is, the world knows. And it's the old adage, no one wants to air their dirty laundry.
That's it. Well, ours is being aired after we had who. So let's talk about this voting. They were saying that in Florida, that some of the boxes were stuffed from, I was gonna say Tokyo, but like from China or something like that with the votes. I'm like, are we still doing this? Are they still saying they cheated on the election?
This right now is the thing about this. Florida, the only reason that's happening was because DeSantis won by the skin of his teeth. That's why. And in all these places, even Ohio is considering legislation to change its voting practices. And you're like, well, what's wrong? Y'all have control of the state. Why would you need to double down on something that you can't prove, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is that all these states where there is Republican control, because that's what it is, they're doubling down on making sure that they win. I mean, in Florida, they're talking about having more stringent guidelines for absentee voters, which people feel that it may have a backwards impact on them because a lot of their voters that are voting Republican are elderly who go down to Florida to retire and that sort of thing. And so they may be putting more barriers in place. But the issue they're doing it is because there were 700,000 more. There were 700,000 more ballots for Democrats people who voted against DeSantis that went through the process of their early voting. So, but the thing was, it was a pandemic. People wanted to vote early and get it done, So who knows what those numbers would have been? But the issue is like, if you've won, why change the rules? In Georgia, they lost, so they changed the rules. So. This is one of those things we just got to adapt and do, because if we can't change it, until we get until there's people who believe in the same ideals of fair and free elections. But until that point, we just got to adapt and do. If you're going to throw out if you're going to have a Jim Crow era law, beat them at it. And that's what we have to do. We got to mobilize and win. And that's in Georgia was a great example of that. And Florida had some successes, but we'll see what the future holds.
Do you think it's because they want the house? Because they lost the house? Do you think that's it?
But even like for example, in Ohio, we lost because of the census, we lost a congressional seat. And
okay.
I think they were either saying it was going to Texas, or there was another couple of states I can't remember, but who might get that additional congressional seat. The issue is how will redistricting impact our communities?
Okay, you're on live with ShopTalk. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, you know what? You guys are talking about a lot of things today, but I just wanted to say that I like the title of today's shows, how real eyes realize. And on everything that you guys are talking about, I just consider the title of the show. It's a fantastic title, and that's what I wanted to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Shout out to Tupac. That's Tupac.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even with Pac, he was doing his thing too. He was saying, I was watching like a documentary of him where he was talking about, they asked, I can't remember who it was. It was somebody that did a drop, and I can't think of his name right now. Boy, they asked as far as like, how does he feel about dying? This was when he was younger. He said, before I didn't care about dying. He said, but right now, he said, God didn't put me on this earth or have me go through these things for nothing. So I'm doing God's work. And I thought, he saw the injustices then. So he picked up where his mother, because his mother was a Black Panther. And he said that we have to step out there and do what we have to do. You know what I mean? To make sure that we are treated fairly. And then now you have the next generation that's doing it.
Right.
So shout out to you. Yeah, that's look, shout out to you, Tupac. That's Tupac. And that's what we need to know. Real eyes, real lies, real lies. So we have to know where the truth is.
Right.
And just like Roogle said, they want to change the rules. Why you want to change the rules? Because we see the lies. There was a guy, I want to talk about that real quick. The vaccine. There was a guy who was vaccinated who still caught the COVID and symptoms. Did you see that, Roogle?
No, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you didn't see that? Yeah, there was, so some people feel like, like they were saying that you don't have to wear your mask. Please wear your mask because you still can get it. You can be a carrier. Because remember, it was only, what was the Johnson & Johnson was 80% back when I did the stats before. I don't know if it got any better, but it was like 80%.
Yeah.
So you still had the 20% chance. Go ahead.
Yeah, you don't know if it's going to be effective in you. All you know is that you got vaccinated. That's one thing. The other thing is that if you do, from what I understand, you can still catch it. The issue is that it could lessen the impact on
the symptoms.
Yeah. But now they're talking about people who have had like these long lasting effects from the COVID vaccine. I mean, not the vaccine, from COVID. And they were saying like there was I listened to an article on the radio. They were just saying how like there's groups that's trying to bring attention to some, like, for example, they said cracking teeth chipping is a symptom. Like they said, there's over like 200 symptoms tied to COVID. We just don't understand a lot.
Hold on one second. Hey, if you want to know this conversation, feel free to do so. The phone number here is 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. Go ahead, caller. You're on live with ShopTalk.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Cece calling from Columbus, Ohio. How y'all doing this morning?
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to come in and say that, if it wasn't for social media, a lot of people wouldn't get the information and the lies that were spread. So our thing is, okay, we have that information and we need to do something about it. So all the groups created, all of the information that's put out there is useful to a certain degree. We have to apply it and really have an understanding in that and just not just take it for what it is. But I'm thankful for social media in that way that I can do my homework based on what I've read and what I've received. So you doing this show this morning is very important. I just pray that a lot of people really get what's useful in it, because it's just so much needed, and then just the diversity of having more than one voice is important. So I thank y'all for doing the show this morning.
All right, thank you for listening to Shop Talk.
Thank you.
You too. Okay. All right. See, you got to determine what's fact and what's fake.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Roogle. I want you to finish what you were talking about as far as like the with the vaccine and the tooth chipping.
Well, they were saying that there were all these there were like 200 symptoms that have found out to be associated with it. Now, I didn't get a comprehensive list because I was listening to an NPR interview with the organizer of this group that were helping people.
Okay.
But it was just, it's just so much we don't know. So I would say like yesterday I was picking up takeout for my wife, and I know people are eating and stuff, but I was wearing a mask the whole time. I'm like, they're looking at me like, you sit at the bar, waiting for your thing. You keep, you take a little sip of your beverage, then you pull up your mask or whatever. I'm like, because you don't know. And the thing is, it's for my protection, for people's protection around me or whatever, because I don't know. And I in my line of work, I had to tell somebody, because they're like, oh, you can take that off, you don't have to worry about it around me. I was like, well, yeah,
yes, I do.
Yeah, I do, because I had to tell this one person, I said, because I would feel terrible if I found out that you potentially contracted it and potentially it came from me. I've been vaccinated, you know what I'm saying? But, I the whole thing is caring for others. Do you care for others? And I do. Some people are like, well, that's unfortunate that you care for others.
That is an issue that I have with people coming to the hotel, especially when I'm working, because I'm the night auditor.
You work front desk?
People coming in here, there's a big old, listen, people, if y'all in the area and y'all come down to this hotel, Comfort Suites, wear your mask.
She can't say, look, we can't say the name of the place.
I'm sorry.
Because they didn't get advertisement.
I'm sorry.
But I got you.
But she makes a good point.
You do. Go ahead.
Sign in the door when you come in the door, wear your mask. We have signs when you come to the desk. It's a big sign right there. And I be standing there and see a lot of people that come in here and they be looking at me like, oh, yeah, you're right. Because you coming up here, walking up to the desk, wanting to come in, you walking through the lobby. I'm sitting there with my mask on. Why are you coming up to me, talking to me without one? So I'm sitting there looking at them like, or they get mad when I tell them to wear their mask. You have to wear a mask when you're down here in the lobby. And people get mad and, want to report me. And my manager is okay with that, with me saying what I say to people. She is okay.
It's protecting everybody. It's protecting everybody.
And I'd have to tell people, like, if I have to keep asking you, I can ask you to leave and have you removed if you don't.
You know what, though? I'll say this, because I usually wear a gaiter, and it's like made out of cloth and that kind of stuff. But the other day I had to put on one of those like surgical masks, or like, the mask. It wasn't like it wasn't an N95 or whatever. And I was like, God, I cannot breathe in this thing. I was like that. That was the first, it was the first time I felt really uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God, I can't breathe in this thing. But, I think though, people, I don't know, choose one that works best for you. And those didn't work best for me at all, because I don't like it behind my ears and all that. I wear glasses already. I don't need another thing.
Oh yeah, it does tend to break down. So you gotta watch that too, because it'll break down your ears. I was at the zoo and I did wear my mask, but I will say I had issues breathing, and they were talking about the amusement parks opening back up. I want to say in like June or so. And I don't know, don't quote me on it, but I think it was Cedar Point, or anyway, whichever amusement park, check it out and see. And they were saying that you have to wear your mask. Now I want you guys to just think about this, wearing your mask on a roller coaster. And you're already having issues breathing. I don't know how that's going to work. So I want you guys to check into that and just always just be safe. And then when it's hot outside, you know, wearing a mask is like wearing a scarf. When it's hot, you can't breathe. Yeah, if you cannot breathe, let me say that. They have the shields too. If you cannot breathe, sit at home. I want to talk about, I think it was The View. I'm not for certain. I think I was watching The View, and I think it was The View. Dr. Fauci was saying that he's staying in the house and he's been vaccinated, he said, according to, this is secondhand, but he was still wearing his mask. So that's why people are confused to wear a mask or to not wear a mask. That is the question. And they were saying that when you are vaccinated and other people in the room are vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask. But the prime example is that one young man, and he's from the area, Lashar, he actually did a video and said that he was vaccinated. And I want to say that he went to a party or something like that and he didn't wear his mask. He said usually he wears his mask. And then he went on vacation and somebody contacted him and asked him, was he okay? Because some people said they went to like a party or something like I was saying. And some people got COVID. And they asked him, and then he checked it, you know, he got checked and it was detected that he did have COVID. He said that he was having like sinus issues because he had allergies. Those were the symptoms that he had. So the symptoms weren't as bad. I think that there was a doctor that was on there on The View as well. I did hear her say out of her mouth, getting the vaccination is individually based. It's an individual choice, just like voting for who you want to vote for. It's an individual choice. There are some people, and I want to put this out here, hear me clear. Do what it is that you want to do. People who are immunocompromised, they, you know, suggest that you get it, but there are some people who are really immunocompromised that introducing their body to something else can actually harm them. So talk to your doctor. If you don't know, talk to your doctor, get more information. You know, the information is out there and I know it's confusing, just like the caller said, you know, social media, you have so much and people believe that, but like, where'd you get that from? Facebook news. Okay, well, we need to dig into it a little more and don't just believe what one person says. You have to look at all and determine what's best for you. So obtain all the information. It's like writing a research paper. Obtain all the information that you need to obtain and make the best decision for you. Now,
and I'm tired of arguing with people about my decision.
You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Right.
Because to me, I think, wait 1 second. To me, I think that it's more so it's like voting. When people ask, who did you vote for? Why? Because you want to debate with me off of what? Off of my decision? Right. So
that's why I just start cutting people off. I'm not about to argue with you about my decision. Yes, I am immunocompromised. No, I am not going to get that shot until I get all the facts and see what the long-term effects would be for me. That is why I made the decision to not get that shot. I'm not going to continue to. So I just start cutting people off. There's a lot of people. I just started cutting people off. I'm not about to argue with you about my decision about my body.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you got it. Good for you, but it may not be good for me. And I got to do what's best for me. If you don't want me around you,
don't allow people don't allow people to make you feel guilty. What is guilt? Guilt is actually the alarm that goes off in your head to let you know that you made a decision that goes against your core values. If it does not, don't feel guilty about it. Roogle, you want to add to that before we end the show?
No, I just think, I mean, you know, Nyk has her own experience and her own reasons and that sort of thing. I think hopefully, I think people may be coming at you from a place of concern, you know, because I don't know. I thought if you had pre-existing conditions and things like that, they were encouraging you to do it. But
that's why I said that's why I specified that. When you are immunocompromised, depending on how immunocompromised you are. If we go with HIV, depending on your CD4 count, it's like, whoa, we don't want to introduce anything else. But if you're above your 700, then okay, well, you're healthy enough, even though you have HIV, but your CD4 count is high. But if it's below or you're at like an 18,
Yeah.
I seen somebody that was at an 18 and I was like, oh my gosh.
And
So you have to contact your physician and you have to know your body because any little thing.
And I think that's what I mean, that's what I received from what she said. You know, I mean, but there's been people saying that there's like, me and my son was talking about this. There were people saying that the government is putting nanochips into the vaccination so they can track them. And I was like,
conspiracy theorist.
And the thing I said to him, I was like, well, the minute you have a cell phone, the minute you get a social security number, the minute you get a credit card,
right,
you know, like I was like, that seems like a really dumb thing. I mean, a really expensive thing to do when you had the Patriot Act that was adopted under President Bush, George W. You know, that said that they can look into your phone calls and everything like that. You know, like if they want to find you, they'll find you. They don't need to put a you know, when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, what would be the benefit of them doing that when they know where you're at every day? Yeah. Everybody's posting.
Wait, Nick, go ahead. Wait, Nick, wait, because we gotta do one person at a time.
I was gonna say everybody's posting where they're at. People got doorbells with cameras on them. Like we become like we are doing more to self-police ourselves than the government is doing to actually impose that authority.
Yeah, we're doing their job. Go ahead, Nick.
You know, yeah.
No, I was just saying, I have a cousin that really believes that, you know, and they don't tell you and this and that, and they're actually putting trackers in you, tracking you. And I'm sitting there like, we got a social security number, you got a cell phone, you be on Facebook going off about stuff. So if they want to find you, baby, they gonna find you. You got
guess what? And guess what? If they put up an award to find out where you at, somebody telling anything.
Exactly.
You're right.
They'd be like, oh, you $1,000 for information. You know what they say, $1,000 for information that leads to this arrest. Okay, cool. Right. They that away.
All right, we getting ready to close the show. I said that before, so got to go. Mother's Day is tomorrow, so happy Mother's Day to the lovely mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
Okay, here we go. Repeat, Nick, repeat and complete. My mom made the best what?
My mom made the best spaghetti.
Okay. All right, Roogle.
My mom makes the best pound cake.
Okay. Nick, you know what that means. When we want some pound cake, we'll be like, we heard you made the best. Word to the curb, you made the best pound cake.
Right.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
All righty. For those who don't know what your core values are, I'm going to give them to you real quick. Integrity, responsibility, respect, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. All right. So you guys check that out. I'm big on education. That's why we do the show, edutainment, real life edutainment, giving you the information that you need and hopefully that you want to hear. And I encourage you guys, please, please, please get out there, research it for yourself. And again, there's a thin line between encouragement and peer pressure. Don't allow people to pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do. Again, guilt. That's that siren that that goes off and it lets you know that you made a decision that goes against your core values. If you don't believe in it, don't do it. If you know, look yourself in the mirror and be like, no, you made the right decision for you, and you're willing to deal with the consequences, because we know that every decision has consequences, good or bad. All right, Roogle, I know we're running out of time real quick. What's happening in the Ruby world?
Well, it looks like Hollywood is on to release movies this summer, so just stay tuned. You'll see everything that's coming to a theater near you. On the small screen right now, we have Jupiter Legacy, which is a superhero series that is on Netflix. I've been checking it out. It's okay. It's all right. Reminds me a little bit of The Watchmen, tied into a little bit of Invincible that was just on, with a sprinkle of the Umbrella Academy all smashed into one, right? So that's out there, but pretty decent. And what's also started to what's also out there is the Star Wars The Bad Batch, and basically it's a animated series that's on Disney Plus that reminds you of the Clone Wars with its animation style. It follows 5 of the stormtroopers or from the Clone Wars that were considered the Bad Batch because they were genetic anomalies from the other ones, and then they go on their adventures or what have you. It's a new story, don't know much about it, just sitting in the driver, just sitting there waiting for it to unfold and see what what good comes from it. Next week we got a lot of stuff that will be hitting and we'll talk about that then.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll be remiss if I didn't say this. Next week I don't know if I feel I ain't ready to go to the theater yet. I get but Spyro is premiering, and that is the Chris Rock directed and written Saw movie.
A Saw movie.
Yeah.
I'm
and that premieres next.
Is that what
it was supposed to
with the circles?
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't watching that. I'm nervous.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a prequel. I don't know what he's doing with it, but
but
basically,
you're gonna let us know, right?
I might if I feel like going to the theater. So
I wonder if they're gonna do something
know.
with that, as far as like not allowing so many people in there, checking your card to see if you vaccinated. I mean, because you can clearly still get it. I just said wear your mask. People just wear your mask. All right, lovely people, that is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you, as I do each and every single Saturday. Today's footnote is the title of today's show: Real Eyes, Real Lies, Real Lies. Shout out to you. May you rest in peace, Tupac Shakur. All right. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people.
ShopTalk
right here on your Spreaker.com. Hey, listen, on all your favorite podcasts, Let's Shop Talk. That's it. You can find us on Let's Shop Talk on your favorite podcast. Okay. Also, put your comments. If you like to comment, like, share, all that lovely stuff, put it below, because we want to know what you think. And if you're shy, that's okay too. You can text. Got a line for you lovely people to go ahead and text 619-902-2287. If you want to know the phone number, go to the Shop Talk with Mel Facebook page. That phone number is there. The phone number is below as well. You can always text your comment if you are a shy person, a shy guy. All right. Again, if you would like to donate to the channel, you can do so. The information is located below, but we want to hear you. We want to know what your thoughts are. Look, we care, right? We definitely care.